Hi guys, welcome to another video of our EA Weekend video series in Execute Automation, and today we are going to talk about Playwright's Test Runner. So we have been talking about a lot of details in recent past on the new features of Playwright, and I guess I was releasing a lot of new features even before the Playwright was publicly available, because we had a course for Puppeteer and we also discussed about Customizable and Playwright was kind of new, started with library like 0.10.0, and from then we have been releasing a lot of upgrades to the course. And one of the upgrade that I released recently, and I think I have the video on the YouTube as well, was the Playwright's CLI. So all those things are pretty interesting, and we discussed a lot of details about the new features on the Playwright. Even some of the features which were not there in the Puppeteer are now available in Playwright. There is no reason that we need to call the Playwright and Puppeteer as the same thing now, because Puppeteer is not something even close to related to the Playwright right now, because they are maintained by two separate teams right now. So they are almost two different things. And the new feature which the Playwright is introducing in recent days are pretty awesome, and the Microsoft team who are working on the Playwright are showing some of the latest and the greatest features for the Playwright. And today we're going to talk about the Playwright Test Runner. And again, the Playwright Test Runner has got so many different features. I've already covered a lot on that on the course, but again, we're going to talk about some of the features that is really distinguished compared to the just Puppeteer of the Puppeteer framework. So the top 7 features of the Playwright Test Runner that we'll be discussing are these. So Playwright Test Runner has got the just like assertion. So the assertions like the expect, to be, and not to be, all those methods that you see on the just Puppeteer or in the just, the same library is being extended even in the Playwright Test Runner over here. And then it also has a powerful and highly customizable test runner. And this is the super cool thing about the test runner itself. I was very excited to see this particular Playwright Test Runner and this particular customization that you can do on the test runner is really awesome. And extending the test runner with Folio is another great thing that you have on this particular test runner. And once again, I'll talk about the Folio in a minute, but yes, this is something that you can extend the test runner using the Folio, and you can even extend your own test runner kind of thing. And then you can extend the test fixture with any types, meaning you can extend the BrowserContext or the BrowserOptions or the pages, and all those things you can extend using the Playwright's test runner. And then you can customize the test runner parameters, which means you can customize the versions that you want to execute, or maybe the number of times that you want to execute a same test with different types of configurations. All those things you can do from the customizable test runner parameters. And it has a visual comparison, so you can also do some sort of visual comparison with two images and you can see how it actually works. It's like a handy tool. And then you can also do like a skip test, run specific test, retry the test number of times, like 3 or 4 times that you want to specify, and you can use the test info combination on that, and then you can do a lot of things. These are some of the top 7 features of the Playwright Test Runner. It has a lot of features actually, but I cannot really compress everything on one slide. But yes, these are some of the top 7 features which I really like about the Playwright Test Runner. So let's quickly see all those details in this whole video in a very nutshell feature, not like everything in a highly detailed fashion. So the just Puppeteer of Puppeteer is the test runner for the Puppeteer at the moment, and the author for the just Puppeteer has mentioned that he cannot really maintain this particular repo because he's super busy with some other stuff. It makes sense because he's the only author who was doing it, and probably the support is going to be coming to an end if nobody's going to do any maintenance on that. And that's about the just Puppeteer. But you can use the just to do the execution of Puppeteer if you want, but some of the features which the just Puppeteer offer to you, like the context which I'm talking about, are available only in the just Puppeteer. So the Playwright Test Runner that we are talking about today has got a lot of feature, and it is highly maintained by the Microsoft team. And once again, guys, this software, this Playwright Test Runner, is not even released to the public yet. It is still in preview stage. It is still in 0.162 version the time when I'm recording this video. Even the 1.0 is not out yet, so it is in preview stage. So if you're going to try it out right now, you will probably see the there will be some sort of bugs maybe, but it is really good. I have tried it a lot and I have covered a lot of details on this in my course, so it's pretty amazing, by the way. The Playwright Test Runner, this is what is the GitHub page says. So zero config cross-browser end-to-end testing for web app, browser automation with Playwright, just like assertions, and built-in support for TypeScript. And Playwright Test Runner is available in preview, and a minor breaking change could happen. So this is what they say. That's what I was saying. That's the Playwright Test Runner by itself is right now available in preview stage, and there may be a minor breaking change. But as of now, I could see that it's running very smooth, and a lot of features that I was talking about earlier is working without any problem. And then the installation of this Playwright Test Runner is very simple. All we need to do is this, like npm i-d at playwright/test. That's it. The installation is done. And you can see that this is how the basic test of the it block is going to look like. So basically in here you will have like a just like workflow, like describe it and expect and kind of things. I mean, it's all pretty much exactly like how, if you're familiar with the Jest, even just Puppeteer, you will see the same kind of workflow available even in the Playwright Test Runner, and it's pretty cool. I mean, you can see that it has an it block, and you can see that there is something called as an async of the context. So this context is basically a parameter of the Playwright Test Runner. So this particular parameter can be of anything. It can be a parameter of the Playwright, or if you are creating your own fixture, you will have a customized parameter. So I mean, I covered this a lot in the course, but yeah, this is what is this parameter. So there are many different parameters available, like browser context parameters, context option parameters, and then page parameters, and then I mean, there are so many parameters like browser names if you want to get it, launch options and stuff. So all these parameters sits in on this async of at context that you are seeing over here. And then you can do the rest of things, which is pretty similar. So those things never change at all, and they are pretty much similar. And if you want to execute the browser, the test with the it and describe block, so this is how the code is going to look like. So you will see that we're trying to import it and expect from the Playwright/test, and then there is a describe block, and within that there is an it block, and all those code that we saw earlier. This is exactly what it is. And we can also run the test of the Playwright using the command line, and this is highly sophisticated and highly customizable. So what parameter that you are seeing over here, like --param browser name is equal to Chromium, is basically an parameter which is by default available on the test runner, but you can change this if you want. And as I told you, the top 7 features, you can do a customization of parameters on your own need. And again, execution of the test can be done using this command, like npx of Folio. So if you give the npx of Folio, which means you're going to run all the test on that particular directory. If it is npx folio --param of the browser name is equal to Chromium, then it is going to run the test only on the Chromium browser. So if you specify npx folio, which means it's going to run the same test on 3 different browsers like Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit. By default, that is how the workflow actually happens. That too, it runs all the test on that particular directory that you're executing. And if the test has got the extension of .spec.ts, something like that. And similarly, if you want to run the test in an headful mode, then you can specify headful, because as you know, by default, the Puppeteer or Playwright actually runs test on the headless mode. So you can specify headful if you want to. And similarly, you can specify slow-mo, screenshot on failures. You can take videos, retry the test and stuff. Yeah, all those things available as a parameter for you on the command line. So we have been talking about this folio a lot. Like, what is this folio, right? I mean, the folio is actually an customizable test framework to build your own test framework. And this is the foundation for the Playwright Test Runner. And actually, in my course, I have specifically addressed all those details on the Folio itself a lot. So if you could see over here, this is just the Playwright Test Runner. But after that, after you understood the Playwright Test Runner, you can see that all those tests which has been, all those lectures which has been covered is all talking about the Folio everywhere. So this is basically like completely a Folio based test execution. I mean, Folio is basically a customizable test framework, and this is what is powering the Playwright Test Runner, and that is pretty awesome. And that's why Folio is something which I really like, and I have covered that a lot in this course. And there are many other videos available on this course related to this particular Folio, which is not there in this particular screenshot, but I have released them as well. So let's see everything in action in a very, very basic nutshell, and we'll understand how things work. So for that, I'm gonna flip to my Visual Studio Code IDE. All right, so this is my Visual Studio Code IDE, and this is the same code which I took from my course on the Playwright. And there are so many changes happened. Actually, if I just do a control space on this particular version on the package, you can see this is the latest version. If I want to install the Playwright test, so this is the repo Playwright-test for the Playwright. And the installation, as I told you, this is the command like npm-d, like that. So I'm just going to do a Control-Shift-P. I'm going to open an integrated terminal, and I'm going to paste this command, and then I'm going to execute this. So this way, it is going to install the Playwright test for me on this particular repo. And I guess I need to do an npm install just to make sure that I also install the Playwright in here. Yep, it's all there. Pretty cool. So now that all these days in this course and in any video of mine on the Playwright, we have been using this way to run this particular test, right? Like async of this particular method signature. Within that it has all the method, all the test lines that we are trying to cover. But now, for the first time, we are going to run the test on a TypeScript file. That's pretty amazing as well. And we're going to use the Playwright's Test Runner, which is yet to be released, which is still in preview state, and it is pretty amazing, as I told you. So I'm going to call this as firsttest.spec.ts. So you can see this is a TypeScript file. And because this is a TypeScript file, the way that you import the files are going to be a bit different. So you can see that it tells me that this is a TypeScript language basics. So the import statement basically shows me that. And I'm just going to do a from double quotes, and instantly it shows me that I have a directive called playwright/test. Yep, I required that. And over here, once I do a control space, it shows me all the different methods which is sitting on that particular Playwright-test, which I can really access. So this is not a method, basically it's a constant. So once I access this and then describe, or if I want to expect, so all these things I can really get it right from this particular Playwright test. And if I just do a control of click on the you can see that it takes me to the type definition file. On the definition file, it shows me all the details of what it is and how the implementation is actually sitting, and everything is like Playwright worker fixture. So everything is actually fixture over here, and this fixture actually has got a different set of parameters that you can work with it. So these parameters are nothing but a type variables for the type Playwright worker fixture or the test fixture, like that. And there is a Playwright parameter where we have these kind of parameters. So I can quickly show you what I really mean about these things. So over here, I'm just going to write a describe block code. And within this describe block code, I'm going to do a first test to show the test execution. And on this, I'm just going to close a braces, and that's it. So this is just a describe block, and within describe block, we should have a it block. This is where the actual execution is going to happen, right? So here within this it block, you can specify what execution that you're going to be specifying. Let's say open execute automation website, something like that. So this is my first test. In order for doing that, if you remember in our earlier test, what we try to do is like we try to create a context for the browser, and then we try to set the browsers, like what browser that we're going to be executing, like Chrome browser or Firefox browser or the WebKit browser, and then we do all sort of things. If you just go to my earlier test, you can see that we set all the different stuffs over here, and then we create the context, and then we create a new page like that. So now we have to do nothing on those things. Rather, we can just specify something like an async of a, so I can just probably leave this guy as it is so that I can explain this over here. So this is how you do an async of what parameter that you'll be accessing. If I do a control space, you can see that I get different sort of properties here, like browser, browser name, browser options, browser type, context option, control context, factory, is Chromium, Firefox, like that. So the one which I really require is the let's say the page. So now using this particular page, I can now perform a lot of operation, something like await. Because we now have the page, we can now just do a go to the URL that we want to navigate to. So if I want to go to the executeautomation.com website, I can go using this particular command. That's it. This is super cool. I mean, I don't really have to do any setup here, because we are specifying what type of browser we are executing, what whether we're going to run this in a headless mode or headful mode on the command line parameter. All those contexts are going to be set for you from the Folio by default, and then every executions are going to happen for you from over here, which is pretty cool. So now if I just go and if I just do this npm, so you know that, right? In order to execute this test, you need to do an npx of Folio, and if I just hit enter, it is basically going to run all the test which is sitting on that particular directory, which is nothing but the one which has the .spec.ts extension. So currently in my whole directory on the Udemy playlist folder, I only have one spec.ts file. That's why it's going to execute only one test. But you can see that it tells me that it is running 3 tests using 3 workers. So 3 test means it is actually running the same test on 3 different browser. If you saw on the slide, right? It runs on the Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit. So that's what is a 3 test. And it's running, and it's using 3 workers. So I have also covered about workers, what does that really means in my course. But yeah, this is what it says, and it's executing 3 tests. But do you think you really saw any browser came in? Not at all, because we have to tell explicitly to our test that we need to run this particular test by specifying this browser to be in a headful state. So in order to do that, you can just do --param of headful, like that. And if you run this test right now, it is going to run the same test for you in parallel. It's going to work 3 workers, and it's going to run the same test on 3 different browsers. Do you see that it's opening on 3 different browsers right now? So it opened first one like Firefox, sorry, Chrome, WebKit, and then Firefox. I think Firefox, the launch is a bit slower, but yeah, that's it. The test has been executed now, and it's completed. So this is what is the headful state. You can also specify something like which browser exactly that you want to execute this particular test. So for example, if I want to execute this test only for one browser, so you can specify the browser name is equal to maybe Chromium in a headful state. So once I do that, it is going to open or run only one test this time. You can see that running one test using one worker. So it is running only the Chromium test for me, and the test got successful. So this is how we can actually see how we can run the test using this particular test runner. But now there are so many different questions, right? Like this parameter is like a parameter which is available within the Playwright, and this param that you're specifying, like browser name and all those things, it is actually coming from the parameter over here, like browser name, headful, platform, screenshot on failure, slow-mo, video. All those things are actually coming from this Playwright parameters. But you can write your own parameter and you can run your test based on the configuration that you specify. For example, if you have a test which is going to run on a QA environment or on a dev environment, then we can create our own customized fixture, and we can extend that particular fixture, and then we can run the test on that particular configuration. So all those powerful options that you can do right from the Playwright's test runner in a highly sophisticated and highly customizable manner using the Folio which I was talking about. I mean, all those details is there on this particular course, and as you can see over here, let me try to refresh if that particular changes has been updated or not. I don't think so. So I just updated a few more videos or lectures on this course, but I don't think it's been updated. You can see that only few of them is been showing over here, but I have added a couple more lectures. But yes, I have added like more than 2 hours of lectures on this course, just exclusively on the Playwright Test Runners and Folio, so that you will have a very clear understanding of the feature which is not yet available, but you will have a very detailed information on that. So that's it, guys. This is about the EA Weekend video series, and I really thought like you all should be knowing about this particular test runner of Playwright, and this makes the life of the testers much sophisticated, because this particular test runner can really help us to run the test, and we can also generate the JUnit report and all those things, and we can create reports in future, and all those things comes in handy if we use this particular Playwright test runner. So that's it, guys. Just let me know what are your thoughts about on this particular test runners, and are you really interested in this course? How you want to extend this particular course? Do you think even further details are required in this course? Just let me know. I can add the content in there. And if you're really interested to purchase this course, just drop me an email to karthik@techgeek.co.in. I can send you the coupon code. The already discounted course price will discount even further for an even more affordable prices. So once again, thank you very much for watching this video, and you have a great weekend.